Hello all, in this video we are going to see about constructors in Java programming language. So, as we already know that constructors are used to create objects. So constructing a specific object is also called as instantiation. So that's why we refer objects or also as instances. And here the constructor normally initializes the instance variables of the object. That's why when we write the constructors, we write assignment statements. Whatever we are passing in the constructor would be assigning it to the instance variables that we have declared in a given class. Also, a class may have more than one constructor. This is a new part that we are going to see in this video. A class may have more than one constructor. For example, if you notice a rectangle class, you could open the API of rectangle class. You would be able to notice here there are, this is rectangle class. Here they have the fields and then the constructors. So if you notice, you can see more than one constructor here, okay? And on my Word document, I have copy pasted this one and the first one. So rectangle with how many arguments here? 1, 2, 3, 4. With 4 parameters. We have 4 parameters with rectangle constructor. So constructs a new rectangle whose upper left corner is specified as x comma y and whose width and height are specified as the other arguments here. Whereas here, if you notice, there are no parameters here or no arguments that you are going to pass. Constructors constructs a new rectangle whose upper left corner is 0, 0 in a coordinate space and whose width and height are both zeros. So basically it is considering the default values of all the instance variables here. Okay, so why default values? Here if you notice 0, 0 and then 0 height and 0 width, right? So that means integer is the default value for integer is 0. Okay, so that's why it is taking 0. If it is double, it will take 0.0. If it is string, it will take null. So that means in a rectangle class, you have multiple constructors, and I have copy pasted 2 here. So we call this constructor without any arguments, we call it as no-arg constructor. A constructor with no parameters are called no-arg constructor. So there are no parameters here. Okay, so when you declare a constructor, you will list with the parameters, but when you create object, you pass arguments. So but here you don't have to, there are no arguments here, and you call it as no-arg constructor. So usually these no-arg constructor assign default values of the instance variable types. So in just now we have seen int x, int y, int height, int width. So and those are instance variables. And usually what it would assign a default values of the type of the instance variables. Here our type is int, that's why we got 0, 0, 0. If it is a double, 0.0. If it is a string, null. Although it's not required, it is generally advisable to supply a no-arg constructor of any class that you want to define. It's not required, but if you want, we can give. It's advised or recommended to provide a no-arg constructor. So who provide this? Basically, programmer must write this no-arg constructor. Okay, this is about no-arg constructor. So now default constructor. So default constructor is something. The default constructor is provided by Java, is only available if no other constructors are provided by the class. For example, if a programmer provided a constructor with 4 arguments, 3 arguments, 2 arguments, or with 0 arguments, or with 1 argument, then Java will not provide a default constructor. So Java will provide a default constructor only if there is no constructor available in a class. Okay, so in the next video, we are going to see the demo of constructors. Thank you.